Hey, I'm Luke Williams, and today I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks for putting camo vinyl on your gun. Now, I'm working today with my Remington 870 Super Mag. I'm going to be using it for duck season this year, and I'm going to put a Bottomlands graphic on it. Now, no matter what you read on Facebook, camo won't actually help you kill more ducks. It's true. You're just going to have to be better at shooting and calling and hiding. But if a black shotgun is going to throw off your game, then by all means, let's get a camo on it. I like the way the Bottomlands pattern looks, so that's why I'm putting it on here. Plus, any gun looks cool camoed, let's be honest. So, just an extra, but I do want to do it, and I want to show you guys how to do it to make sure you don't have a gun that comes out looking like crap if you do end up putting a vinyl kit on your shotgun. So today we're going to be using the Mossy Oak Graphics Pack. You don't have to use this. This is just one of the first ones I found with decent reviews. It's a shotgun skin. It's the ultra matte, non-glare. It's got bubble-free and wrinkle-free installation. It's supposed to fit most single-barrel shotguns, and it's easy to install. So, you know, can't mess this up. You're gonna need some X-Acto knives for this. You don't wanna be using your pocket knife. These X-Acto knives are gonna be what you need because you are going to burn through some blades here. The back of this vinyl kit has a pretty nasty, sticky substance, and it will gook up on you, and it will absolutely kill your blade. And so, make sure you get you a couple of those. You're also gonna need a heat gun or a hair dryer. You're also gonna need some isopropyl alcohol with some rags and some scissors. And other than that, we're gonna get started on this, get this bad boy looking like Mossy Oak Bottomland, because it's gonna make me a better hunter. Just kidding, it's not. All right, let's get it. So before we get started, there's a couple of things you wanna do. First of all, we wanna clear our gun. We're gonna make sure there's no ammo in there, make sure no accidents happen. After that, we're gonna take off our magazine cap. That'll allow us to take our barrel off. We're gonna go ahead and pull our bolt, our fore end. We're gonna leave our receiver and our stock together. However, we are gonna loosen up the pad a little bit so that we can work inside of this crease right here. All right, once you have it all disassembled, we're gonna go ahead and clean all of this up. We're gonna use the alcohol for this because this is gonna make sure that we don't have any oil left on here. A lot of people will use brushes, which you can, but as long as you got a good cloth, you scrub it good, you're not gonna have any problems, but you can't have any residue on here, otherwise this vinyl's not gonna stick. So make sure you give everything a good thorough wipe down wherever you're gonna put vinyl. All right, now that we've got everything cleaned up, we're done with the isopropyl alcohol, we're gonna go ahead and work with the receiver and the stock here. We're gonna go ahead and loosen this pad. If you've never done this, there's a couple of holes back here. All you do is use a Phillips head screwdriver, pop it in there. You'll be able to loosen that pad right up. We don't have to take it off, no reason for that. You can if you want to, but it's not necessary. Now we've got a nice little gap in between the pad and our stock. All right, let's bust open this kit and see just how bad it is. Now, the one good thing about this vinyl kit, I know with some of them in the past that I've used, once you stick it on, it's kind of there. You're not supposed to lift it back up. They say this stuff, if you mess it up, you can pull it right back off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna center it right on this gun to the best of our ability. We want it to wrap over the top and the bottom at least halfway. Now we're gonna use our fingers. We're gonna get rid of all these wrinkles that are in here. One thing that you can use, which is a nice little tool, are these erasers. Steal one from your kids or grandkids or whatever, friend. And these work really well to help smooth everything out and get rid of your wrinkles without having to apply as much pressure as you would if you were just using your fingers. Whenever you get to any of your edges, anywhere where it turns, anywhere where it does anything different, we're gonna use a heat gun. That heat gun is gonna allow it to go around these bends. It's gonna allow you to form it, and then we'll throw the gun on it and smooth it out. Now you do have to be careful when you heat it up because you can stretch it too much and it'll create a lot of little wrinkles for you, so kind of work it slow. Don't get too ambitious. All right, so we've got the first side on here on our buttstock. We're gonna go ahead and trim this up. I'm gonna cut just this side of halfway so that the other side can meet up with it. You don't wanna use too much pressure, just enough to cut it. You'd rather have not enough than too much, because then you can go back over it again if you need to. If you go too much, then you may just have a damaged firearm. If you're not sure exactly where the line is, make sure that you cut just a little bit short. That way you still have room to trim it up if you need to. Otherwise, you may cut too much and be out of luck. Now that we're back to the pad, just gonna go ahead and cut right along the inside line. This is the reason we put the gap in there, so we can feel exactly where that line's at. Run your knife right down it. And that's perfect. As soon as we put that, tighten that back up, that'll look good along that seam right there. All right, so now that we got this side done, we're ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and do our other side the exact same way. All right, now that we got the buttstock all done, as you can tell, it is smoothed out pretty well all the way around. Now we're gonna go ahead and work on our receiver. Same rules apply to the receiver. The one thing I will say is when you get to cutting on any of these ports where there's action, you wanna make sure you keep your X-Acto blade at a 45-degree angle when you're cutting it. Gives it a little bit of space so that it never catches your vinyl when a shell's popping out or when you're popping stuff in. This is where it pays to have a sharp cutting utensil. Otherwise, you're gonna have a jagged edge all the way around here, and it's gonna be easy for anything to catch it and pull it off. All right, so the one thing you do wanna do, because there's a chance you're gonna mess up, and I did a little bit, but you wanna make sure you save any of your extra, because you can actually patch it really well. On this side right here, a little bit of an extra cut just came a little too far in, showed a little too much gun. So I was able to cut a couple of little strips, put them on there, heat them up, make sure the edges were good, and you can't even see it. And so it is a little tip for you, because you may be able to get through it perfect, but if you don't, you need to make sure you save a little bit of this stuff so that you can patch it with. All right, now on our barrel, what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay this out. Now, what you're gonna notice is it's not actually gonna be wide enough to cover the end of your barrel that goes into your receiver. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna scoot this down right to the edge of that, where it's gonna hit your receiver, and within about, within an 1/8 inch, they say. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this piece of vinyl and we're gonna cut it from here down, right down the middle. And then right where we cut to, we're gonna make a little T about 1 inch long. So when we put it over this, it'll go just like that. Like I said before, we want to make sure that these strips, they go to the very top of the barrel. We're not as concerned about the bottom, because that is going to be covered by your forend. All right, now we've got the barrel all smoothed out. We're gonna go ahead and cut right up here. You wanna make sure that you've got it creased down in there real well using your fingernail. It's another area where you could use this eraser. It does real well with getting in those spots. You just have to clean up the eraser dust afterwards. All we got left is our forend. All right, we now have all our components done for the gun. We're gonna put it back together and see what it looks like. All right, there we go. To be honest, it looks pretty smooth all the way around. There's some little bit of inconsistencies here and there. We're gonna smooth it out one more time, but for the most part, I've got nothing catching. Everything's smooth, no parts sticking out. So before we're done for sure, we're gonna take our heating gun. We're gonna heat up all of it. All this is really doing is helping it become a little tackier, making sure it doesn't pull off. It also gives you time to clean up any mistakes you may have had in the process, any wrinkles. All right, there you go, guys. My Remington 870 now in Mossy Oak Bottomland. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's pretty dang close. I like the way it turned out. I think that I'm definitely gonna kill more ducks this year, because that's what camo does. But guys, I wanna know, what kind of tips do you have for putting vinyl on your firearms? And how many of you are using the Remington 870 for duck season this year? Let me know in the comments below, and then make sure you head to Rated Red's YouTube channel and hit subscribe. From the cabin, I'm Luke Williams.